Happy Sunday, happy Sunday, happy Sunday to everybody, and a happy new year. Welcome to Live with the Loves. What do I do while I meditate? What do I do? That's what we're going to discuss tonight. Good to see you all coming on. Send a note out to everybody. Start a watch party. Share your screen. Do whatever it is you do. As we kick off this new year with a new level of understanding, new level of power. Yeah, what do I do while I meditate? First of all, before we get started, this is Live with the Loves with an S. And as you can see, Pastor Fran is not with me tonight. And that is because her sister Zena, our sister Zena, needs a lot of prayer right now. And we lifting her up in prayer, in particular for her, for the healing of her body, but also for Taylor, my niece, who's standing in the gap, doing all that she can to help her mother to recover. And while we are certainly the people of prayer, we're also people of faith that believes that if God said it, He said in His word that we're healed, we stand on the word. And we stand on that promise. Pray for Pastor Fran, and a lot of the pressure and stress is on her too. It's a lot going on in this season. But the reason we're here tonight is to get an understanding on what I believe is the most powerful spiritual discipline that we've ever encountered. We've been teaching about these gaps: grief, anxiety, pressure, stress. And what we need to understand clearly is this, that just because the new year started doesn't mean that everything in the past evaporates away. The new year is a clear line of demarcation from one level of your life to the next. It's clear. But at the end of the day, the new year is just an idea. Somehow, it is seeped into our lives through faulty teaching that once the new year starts, that everything in the past goes away, but it's not necessarily true. I understand the concept, and I'm sure you do too. There must be a place where we say, okay, we're starting afresh and we're starting anew. But many of us drug the grief from last year, from the pain of the loss of a loved one, possibly from COVID-19 or some other ailment. You drug it into this year. When you lose a grandchild or a son, in the case of Jameer, or Marilyn Augustus, or you can walk in on your husband and see him dead, like Mariah. You don't just get over that grief because a new year has started. The anxiety of what's going to happen tomorrow is still lingering in the back of all of our heads. What's really going to happen when the new president is sworn in? What's going to happen between now and then? The pressure of leading a family, many times just you by yourself. And and stress is the entryway of all diseases that come through stress. How do we alleviate that? Well, we began to teach on meditation and how critically important it is to align in your life. Now, I know a lot, very often, first of all, in the Western society in which we live, there's not a lot of talk about meditation, in particular in the Christian church. We did not hear much about this very powerful concept on meditation. And it is all throughout Scripture, but some way, somehow, we've allowed ourselves to think that it's only for Eastern culture, maybe somebody from India. But no. In Joshua chapter number 1, verse number 2, it says, "My servant Moses is dead." Now, Moses is not a person. Moses is a mindset. My old mindset is dead. Now you and all these people must cross the Jordan River into the land I am going to give my people of Israel. He said, I'm talking to people who understand that if you're going to cross over into another hemisphere of your life, another place in your life, another dimension of your life, there must be some old mindsets that you must get rid of. I remember so clearly preaching at the Full Gospel Baptist Church Fellowship District Conference. And I left them with this message right before all of this broke out, somewhere in October, I believe. From the movie Moneyball, the general manager of Moneyball, of the Oakland A's, began to adopt the process of analytics, and nobody had ever heard of it. And now it's the only way that they keep players on their team is through analytics. And he told them something that was critical that we must understand now. He said, adapt or die. This season has taught us the power that we must adapt, or we're going to die, because Moses' mindset is dead. It doesn't work. And then God gave Joshua some instructions, like a book almost, a book of instructions. And then he tells him in Joshua chapter number 1, verse 8, study this book of instruction continually. Meditate on it day and night. Be sure to obey everything in it. Only then will you prosper and succeed in all that you do. He says to meditate day and night. Meditate day and night. He said, and this is how you're going to prosper. In the previous verse, he told him, be strong and courageous. And then came and gave him the answer on how to do it. He said, meditate. To sit somewhere quietly. There was a recent study that was done with a group of men and women, and they said, would you rather sit down and meditate and be quiet for 15 minutes or take an electric shock? 30% of the women took the electric shock. 60% of the men took the electric shock before they would sit quietly with themselves. Because many times we are very afraid to be left with our own thoughts. Now, when it comes to meditation, when the whole process of meditation was adopted, God, how many thousands and thousands of years ago, people did not have jobs. People did not work like we do. People did not have all of the other things coming at them all the time. They had more time to meditate. And of course, there should be a long-term intention of meditating for a long time. But for the most part, most of us, especially since we're just beginning, you carve out a small amount of time to get yourself started. The first goal is 20 minutes, but it may start off at 5. It may start off at 10, it may start off at 3, but the first goal is 20 minutes. We shared that concept on yesterday, but today, one of the challenges that we get, and one of the many questions that we get when it comes to meditation is, what do I do while I meditate? Because many of us, we start off in silence. We start off in meditation. Before we know it, our mind drifts. Because that is what the mind is designed to do. The mind is designed to move. And then the more we try to force ourselves to settle it, the more it's going to move. You can think through meditation. You are in meditation when you are in control of what you are thinking. I'm going to give you 6 things tonight, 6 things to be thankful, to think about while you meditate. And the first one is this: to have a mind of gratitude. Before you do anything at all, you sit there and think of something to be grateful for. It may not be a big thing. It may not be that you closed the deal. It may not be that you graduated. It may not be that you got the promotion. It may be that I am still alive today. I could have been walking out of Walgreens and somebody pull up. If we first enter in with thanksgiving, into the gates with thanksgiving before we do anything, because regardless of how young you are, how smart you are, how healthy you are, what you eat, what you don't eat, how much you work out, how much water you drink, how much rest you get, on your wellest day, you're sick enough to be dead. So the least we can do, start off our mind, just sit there quietly and just say, thank you. Thank you for all the things that I do have, and I know I don't deserve them. Thank you. Right after that, number 2 is to develop a sense of compassion. If we are not careful, we will lose a sense of compassion for other people who may not be as blessed as you are, or as kind as you are, or as well off as you are. We can't, being grateful, overly grateful, it almost can be a little selfish now, if we're not careful. But to alleviate that, we're going to have a sense of compassion. People are moved by compassion. You're compassionate to somebody else. Number 3, a heart of forgiveness. While you're meditating, yes, you're going to have a mind of gratitude. Yes, you're going to have a sense of compassion, but a heart of forgiveness. We're not sure who's easier to forgive, somebody else or yourself. But if you're going to forgive somebody else, then you will close your eyes and literally picture that person in front of you and say, I forgive you for what you did. You literally have to picture the person in front of you. I forgive you for what you said to me, or what you did to me, or how you hurt me, or broke my heart, betrayed me, disappointed me. I forgive you. But then secondly, you have to also ask that person to forgive you. Oh, that's the hard part right there. Because very often we're not totally innocent bystanders. Or maybe there's somebody that you know you hurt, that you know you disappointed. Picture that person in front of you and ask them to forgive you. A heart of forgiveness says, yes, I am forgiven, but I'm also a forgiver. Forgive us our debts as we forgive those who sinned against us. Number 4, here's where it gets to be a lot of fun. Imagine your future. Oh, you can be sitting right there in a chair, a nice comfortable chair, or sit it on the floor, however you're comfortable. But as long as it's out of the bed, and begin to imagine your future, the future that you desire. You can be right there and be in Hawaii at the same time. You could be sitting there in your pajamas and be on an island, or sitting across from a deal. Imagine your future. What is it going to look like? How are you going to look? How much healthier are you going to be? See, it all starts with the imagination. Everything designed starts with the imagination. The imagination and the mouth are both the creators. The eyes and the ears are both receivers. You begin to imagine your future. Oh, number 5. The perfect day. The perfect day. After you've had a mind of gratitude, after you've had a sense of compassion on others, after you've forgiven and been forgiven, and after you've imagined your future, now it's time to design the perfect day. What is my day going to be like today? Well, let me tell my day what it's going to be like today in my mind. Why is that important? That's important because no day is perfect. But if you prepare for a perfect day, when something happens that would normally disrupt the whole day and week and month of your life, it won't bother you like it used to. I told a story a couple of days ago on our morning program about going to lunch with one of the girls. And we got a bad waiter having a really, really bad day, and took the bad day out on me and us. And I think it was Angel, I said, I bet you that I bet you $10 I can make her $20. I bet you $20 I can make her smile. No, you can't do it. I said, okay. I walked over, and before you know it, the person was smiling, and I won the bet, right? But what I didn't tell him was that I just went over and told the waiter, I'll give you $10 if you smile. You can begin to create your perfect day. Let me run through the top 5 already. Number 1, have a mind of gratitude. While you're in meditation, you can be quietly sitting there saying, I'm so very grateful. Number 2, a sense of compassion. There's somebody you're going to run across that's going to need a compassionate heart. Number 3, a heart of forgiveness for others that have hurt you and when you have hurt others. Now number 4, imagine your future. Where are you going to be 3 years from now? Maybe, but what if it's a year from now, 6 months from now? Imagine the future that you desire, because everything starts in the imagination. Number 5, the perfect day. What does a perfect day look like to you? What business deal are you going to close? What product are you going to create? What are you going to sell? What are you going to do? What's the perfect day look like to you? And then number 6, you leave asking a question, and that is, how can I be a blessing? Whenever you ask, how can I be a blessing, your mind will begin to search for an answer. How can I be a blessing is one of the most powerful questions that you can ever ask in the midst of your meditation. How can I be a blessing? How can I help somebody else? How can I bless somebody else? So here's what we're going to do. Unless you're driving or in a place where you can't close your eyes, we're just going to run through it right quick, and we're all going to do it together. Just find a quiet space in your home, a nice chair, a nice comfortable place. And just do something you probably haven't done all day long. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose with your mouth closed. Fill your chest with that life. And now with your eyes closed, it's so simple. Begin to think about something you can be grateful for, a mind of gratitude. Anything that you can be grateful for. Yeah. A grateful heart carry you a long, long way. Be grateful. Be grateful just for a moment. Now with a heart of compassion, a sense of compassion softens your heart when we are compassionate towards others. When we give people the benefit of the doubt, let people make a mistake. Number 3, who do you need to forgive? Who needs to say, you know what? I place you in front of me. Forgiveness. Who do you know needs to forgive you? Here comes the fun part. Take a little bit longer and imagine your future. Create it in your mind like a movie screen in front of you, with you in the movie. Living how you desire to live, driving what you desire to drive, being in a happy relationship like you deserve to be in, being in love, holding somebody's hand, walking into a big office looking over whatever city that you're in, or laying on a countryside on acres of land, or by a beach with your feet in some blue water. Imagine your future. Come back now, come back, come back, come back. The perfect day, maybe the perfect evening. If it's the perfect evening, come back. Get off the beach. Let's talk about today. Maybe it's a great night's rest. Maybe it's I'm sleeping all the way through the night. Maybe it's something you have to prepare for tomorrow. What does it look like? And what does it feel like? Feeling is the key. What does it feel like? Have a perfect day. And number 6, how can I be a blessing? How can I bless? How can I bless somebody else? How can I be a blessing to somebody, Bishop? With all the stuff you've been through, if you just tell somebody your story. If you can just tell somebody, I survived the worst time of my life. Your testimony. If you just tell somebody what you've been through, there's some young girl that's watching you. There's some young man that's watching you. There's some person out there that wants to hear your story. May end up being a podcast, may end up being a blog. How can you bless somebody? What do I do while I meditate? I can think. I can be quiet. There are times that I'll be quiet in my meditation and just be still and know that I am God. But as long as you are controlling what you are thinking, you are still in meditation. Yeah. One of the things you can begin to think about are the I am statements. It's incredible. 33 statements. If you want to increase your prayer life, 33 statements that covers everything in your life, every day of your life, for the rest of your life. If you don't have it, text I am to 72,000. Take you 5 minutes and you've covered everything in your life, every day of your life, for the rest of your life. It's 33 statements of prayer. As a matter of fact, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we're going to make those statements together on the Clubhouse tomorrow. Clubhouse tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Follow me on Clubhouse. We're going to do our declarations tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. Here's our declaration for tonight, though. I will always have, because I will always give. Always give. Those that want to give tonight, just text them out if you see the 504-513-5683. 5683. It's so easy. 504-513-LOVE. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mac the Preacher. Clubhouse, New Wave. I see all of our people on Clubhouse too. Tangela, Mac the Preacher, Kim, Angela, Morgan. Thanks, Morgan, for jumping on. Ebony and all of my people. What's up, Star? Shantae, all of my people on tonight. $28 seed, the blessing seed. $8 seed is the seed of new beginning, or you just get in where you fit in. What do I do when I meditate? What do I think about? We give you some things to think about. Practice. You don't have to memorize and have a piece of paper next or your phone next to you and say, okay, what's next? And before you know it, you'll memorize them. Don't put any pressure on yourself. Have your phone right there with your 6 steps and go back to it and say, okay, I'm grateful. Then look at my paper again and say, okay, I got a heart of compassion. Yeah, we're working through this. There's no expert meditators. And of course, for those who are afraid of it, because we haven't learned this in our Western culture. It's right in the Word of God. Thank you, Marilyn Augustine. She says she's paying her tithe tonight. Yeah, TTT, Taruma Tithe and Treasure. If you want to live under open heavens, with blessings just come on, just blessings on blessings on blessings on blessings. Make sure you bring your Taruma Tithe and Treasure tonight. Here it is. The key to this is practice. It is practice. You never perfect it. It's practice. And in practice, what you do, you mess up in practice. You don't do it. You don't do it right all the time in practice. But guess what? This is something you can't do wrong. If you make a decision, I'm gonna wake up a few minutes early and just go sit in my favorite chair and just close my eyes and just deep breathe it in through the nose, out through the nose. Just do that. And this, oh yeah, I'm grateful. I got a sense of compassion. There's just so many things you can do at that time. But as long as you're in charge of it, you're in meditation. Okay, y'all. I love y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 6 o'clock a.m. For 10 minutes with Lester Love, a little morning inspiration. And then at 10 o'clock, daily declarations on Clubhouse. Make sure that you're on with us. And then, of course, tomorrow night, 7:30, we'll be right here. Keep us lifted up in prayer. Pray for Pastor Fran, pray for Zena, Taylor, and the crew. Challenging season, but God is still good. We love y'all a lot. Love, live, and inspire. We holler at y'all. Holler at y'all later.